Well, hey guys, hey, silver's holding over $37 right now. It's about 37.10. Gold's around 14.20. There's a new report released today by the Silver Institute. GFMS did the report, did the study, but it was commissioned by the Silver Institute, and this offers their forecast in silver demand for industrial purposes. And they have a starting number here of 487.4 million ounces in 2010 that was used, and they expect by 2015 that the amount will go up to 665.9 million ounces of industrial silver used. And basically, for most of the reasons we've talked about before in other videos, photovoltaics, brazing alloys, other industrial uses, but they have a lot of the newer uses that are going to be coming online that they foresee in the next few years, and that would be auto catalysts, food packaging, supercapacitors, superconductors, hygiene, like water purification, thread and clothing and bandages, things like that, RFID chips, and batteries seems to be a big gainer, judging by their chart here. So I'll put a link down below. You can check that out. There's a whole list of other things that they talk about in here. It's a pretty good report, so you can check that out. And there's another interesting article here today on the mining companies. They're saying that they don't have enough talent right now to bring online all the projects that they want to bring online. There's a shortage in engineers and geologists, and they say right now they don't have any current plans being stalled by it, but all the projects that they actually want to bring online, there isn't any way that they can do it at this point because there isn't enough talent out there to bring in to get these jobs done. This is what they're saying. And in some of the places around the world, they're having to increase the compensation, the paycheck of the people who are doing the work by as much as 70% to keep up with the local inflation rate, but also to keep them from fleeing to other companies. So I thought that was kind of interesting that even if the prices of metals rise, and they want to bring more mines online or reopen old mines when it becomes profitable to do so, that they may not have the talent or the equipment in place, because the article goes on to talk about the equipment they need, that you have to have sometimes 35, 40, and now they're looking at 50, 55 weeks ahead of time that you have to put in to get this equipment. And so there's all these things coming together. I mean, obviously the high cost of oil isn't making their day any brighter either, because it costs them more to pull this stuff out of the ground with the current energy crunch or energy prices. So I just thought that was another interesting aspect to what's going on in the world. And there's a couple other articles on China, or there's an article on Peru where it talks about China's getting ready to open up in 2 or 3 years from now. I think it's 2013. A $2.2 billion copper mine. So you got China down in South America or in Latin America looking for, basically making sure that they have enough resources for their growing economy. And if there's going to be any conflict in the coming years or decades ahead, I truly believe it's going to be over resources. Because I think resources are just becoming scarce. Everybody is clamoring for the same resources. And one interesting thing about China, while they need the resources to build their expanding economy and all the ambitious construction plans that they have, remember that China is still a communist government, and they are a state-controlled economy. So not only are they getting these, are they wanting these resources to build their economy, but they're also building their military, and they're gonna start more and more and keep projecting their military might, not only their economic might, but their military might around the world. And unfortunately, a country like the USA, who China is our bankers, they have a lot of leverage over our government right now, because if they wanted to totally crash our economy, they could in a second. And our politicians, as dull as they are, they know that much. So it's unfortunate, and it's more than unfortunate. It's heartbreaking to see the position that the Republicans and Democrats have put this country in. And unfortunately, the citizens keep voting the same people in, and we're on a gerbil's wheel right now. It's a vicious cycle. So, but that's one. And the article pointed out about Peru's expanding middle class. So not only do we have middle class expanding in India and China, but we have Latin America coming online. And of course, these people want to improve the way they live, which means they're going to want all the same gadgets that Americans use and that Westerners use, which of course is going to use more silver. They're going to require more food because their diet's going to improve, so they're going to want to eat beef and all these other things. And so they're going to be using more energy, which is going to send the cost of energy up. I mean, you can see where all this is going. And every day, there's more and more information that comes out about basically those emerging economies and emerging markets where people now have the ability to improve their life and to live like Westerners. And of course, we all know that the West is a very resource-intensive society because all the gadgets and cars and mechanical things that we have require a lot of commodities, a lot of input. And so the outlook for commodities in general, all across the board, I would say, is very strong. And obviously, when we start to run out of some of these, there's a lot of these rare earths that they forecast we could run out of not too far distant in the future. One interesting one I'll just point out now. I'm doing a little more research on it, but there's a rare earth metal called terbium that is required to make these compact fluorescent light bulbs. And obviously, our Congress here in America just made it. They passed a law that in 2014 they're going to outlaw the incandescent light bulbs, and we're going to have these compact fluorescent. Well, that's good and all, but maybe somebody should have did a little research and studied whether or not we're going to have the materials that make these things, work and give off the kind of light that people are used to. I'm sure they'll find another rare earth metal to substitute it with, but I mean, how long will it be before that runs out? So I think they've gotten themselves in a pickle. They'll probably have to end up repealing that law, or however they figure it out. It's a political point. They'll argue about it and try and rally their base and yada yada yada. It's all nonsense anyway. But anyways, that's one little interesting thing, tidbit about the rare earths. Our incandescents, or actually our fluorescents, require the terbium, and we're running out of it. So, good job, Congress. You're really looking out for your people. So that's pretty much it for today. Take care. If you have a comment or you have an opinion, you can certainly leave one below. See ya.